Hey, how you doing? My name is Arden. Welcome to a different kind of video today. today I want to tell you a story. And this story happens to me when I was in my younger years. The frame is when I was in college. The time frame was when I was in college. And the funny thing is, this came up to me. This memory came up to me recently. Oh boy, how do I start? The title of this video is very misleading. I just do it that way just to create some kind of tension and drama. Flair. Okay. During my last couple years of college, I joined the anime club at my school in Western Michigan University. At first, the anime club, before I started joining them, it's a bunch of people who met up in some person's apartment, and it was funny. I didn't like that idea. I was like, we need a central place. So what happened was, one of the guys that was there, he was like, I'm sick and tired of this club. I want to take a break. Hey, Art, since you like anime, why don't you take it over? I'm like, okay. I was the president of another club. It's called Japan Club. So what happened was, I go up to the student organization office because we actually have office. Some clubs have an office, and so what happens? I register took my name. I registered for my name as the. So what happens? My friend, he became the president. I was like the vice president or something like that, treasurer, whatever. He signed off as the president. I signed myself as something like that, as a vice president or something like that. They look up and say, "Hey, you know what? Hey, Art, since because I didn't have a lot of pull there, but they knew me very well. They say, "Hey, Art, I have an idea." I go, "What's that idea?" "Hey, we have an office open. Would your club like to have this office?" Cool. My friend, he was like, "Do we get an office?" I go, "Yeah." I said, Where's that office at?" She goes, "Right next to your Japan club." Woo! So that means I could do office hours here. He could do office hours, and I could keep an eye on both. Okay, cool. So we got the keys to it. Open it up. Made a makeshift sign. Anime club. Okay. So I said, you know what? If we're going to be showing anime, is it possible to use a building? Can we use a place to show movies and stuff like that? And they said, you know what? Because of you, what we do is this not this dorm, but this building, which a lot of science classes are held. They have this room had like a video, like a video screen and like a projector booth. You could have that. You could have that. I was like, score. Hmm. So we're sitting here making moves. So what happened? I was like, okay, so what we got to do? We pulled we pulled our investment together to dub videos that we had that are on for our own collection to build a library. And so what happened was, when the fall hit, we're, the first set of fall, we're gonna put posters all. We made during the summer we was making stuff, and I made posters of the anime club. First meeting here, and so what happened was we said, okay, cool. The first meeting of the anime club, boom. It was a success. We had about 25 members the first week. Sign and say, okay, we want to have we have an office hours. The idea is that you can rent movies. You can rent movies from us. You can rent movies and animes from us. Not the stuff that we're currently watching, but other stuff. And for price of like what, $10 a semester. Okay. So what happens? The money we made, we invested in blank tapes to and get more anime, bootleg anime. Yes, we got bootleg anime. All right. Like some of the animes that you see today, a lot of that stuff came from bootleg, and anime clubs showing bootleg material. So it's kind of hilarious. So what happens? The people who was a part of the anime club before, they saw what we were doing, and they was like, "Whoa, you guys are amazing. We never achieved something like this." I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." And it's like, "That's all. It's all Art's idea." I said, "Hey, we have our library of videos. Do you want that?" I said, "Oh, I said, "There's a library?" He goes, "Yeah." They go, "Yeah," and the guy goes, "Did you want it?" Like, we all looking at each other like, "Well, yes, we want that." Okay. About a week later, about a couple days later, they put it to an office box full of anime. We catalog the anime and boom, boom, boom. Got new anime, catalog it, boom, boom, boom. So we had a master list of this. We had a list of all of our members, their addresses, so if something does happen, we can contact them and their phone numbers. So, like, say for example, if someone wants to borrow this one series, if we didn't need that series, here you go, bring it back in a week. And so that's what happened. And it was very successful. It was so successful. Of course, people come like 10 to 12 people, average of 10 to 12 people a week. I'm like, okay, cool. So what happened was my job, I put in, I donated part of my earnings for this club so they can get more stuff to show. And then what happened? We had a good nest egg for a while. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is something that we created. My friend, my friend, he was the president. He ran the weekly meetings. I was a liaison between our club and the office, so to speak. I quit Japan Club because the person said, what you're doing, no one really wants to do that anymore. I'm like, okay, fine. You guys, here's your key, whatever. Took all my stuff out, put it in there. Took a couple steps back so I could try to graduate. Graduate, fine. The members say, "Hey, are you graduate? Do you have a job?" I'm like, "Nope." And so what happened was they say, "Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you stay on as part of the club in case if one of us can't make our office hours?" I'll say, "Sure, no problem." Instead of surrendering my key, yeah, just kept it. So what happens, and it did came in handy because one of our one of our friends, he had a health condition, and he basically bolted in the middle of the night. He basically bolted in the middle of the night and disappeared for almost a month. And believe me, it was a good thing he did. Didn't what I didn't really like the way how he did it, but it was a good thing he did. Let's just say far as I know, he's still alive today, which is good. But he did what he did, and I was sitting there and during his office hours. You know, we had to maintain an office like 10 hours a week, but we was doing like 20 to 30 hours a week. Especially on Saturdays, we all hung out at the club office before we went to to the meeting, and sometimes after the club. So it was kind of cool. It was cool that way. Now I just set everything up. This one guy that we know who was part of the club a long time ago, he looked up, he goes, "Hey, I got a PS1 I'm trying to sell." Okay, cool. We'll buy it. I got some VCRs. Sure, cool. So what happens? We hooked everything up. See, we had a computer there. We had a desktop there, which technically we played this game called XCOM, which was a really awesome game back then. And then we had a little small TV, and we had two VCRs, and we had a PlayStation. As soon as we had everything hooked up, I said to the club, "Do not play this at a loud volume. Don't play this at a loud volume. Play it on a very low volume, and everything's cool. You know, unless it's office hours, keep the door closed." Okay. Now, here's the funny thing is, because I didn't have a job like now, at the time, I was at work. I stay at home. Then it was come time, my car was down at the time, so I had to walk to my job, which is like a half an hour walk from campus. So I'd be at home for majority of the day, walk up to the campus, rest for about an hour, change my clothing while I'm at the office. I change my clothes while I'm there because sometimes I was a dishwasher, and so if I was a busser, then I'll change my clothes and I'll walk to work and leave my other clothes there. Then I change and go home. So that's what I was doing for a few months, and everything was great. Then when I got my car fixed, after 5 o'clock, I could park in the where our student office was. I could park there. It was like a little parking lot. I could park there with no issue after 5 o'clock. And like if I didn't have to go be at work at 7, I could just park there at 5 o'clock, 5:30. I could zoop it in there, park there, hang out for a little bit, go to work, come back, hang out a little bit more, and then go home or go straight home. Either or, not a problem. So every now and then, I'll, you know, late night after getting off of work, I'll drive by the office, and I'm hearing this loud noise. Now back then, Final Fantasy VII was out, and I'm like, it's like 12:30 at night. I'm saying, why is... See, the student off. Let me explain. The student offices was open 24/7. The door was open. Anybody can walk in and out any day, anytime, day or night. And a lot of times there was foot traffic. Some people who had offices, like for example the ski club, no one showed up for the ski club, but every so often, in the middle of the night, Friday or Saturday, you go around. Some offices are open, but you'll hear a little music going. So I'm assuming some people were having a small after hours meeting. That's the best way I can explain it. That's the best way I can explain it. Because sometimes someone saw me, hey, hey, you cool? Yeah, I'm good. How about you? Okay, cool. And I go into my office. A lot of times after I get off of work, I stop off at Subway, get a sub, go to the office, eat the sub, then go home. Because sometimes trying to wind down or grab my stuff or whatever. So the hilarious thing is we didn't have a phone in the office. Didn't have a phone. Now what happened was the Gamers Guild, they had a phone line. And there was a phone and there was a conference room on the floor. There was a conference room that had a phone. So I'm sitting at home one day in the afternoon. The phone rings. I go, hello? Hey, Art. Are you working today? I go, yeah, I'm working tonight. And he goes, is it possible for you to get to the office as soon as possible now? I'm like, yo, everybody's here. I'm like, okay. So since it was like in the middle of the day, I couldn't drive up there, so I had to walk there. I had to walk there. So after I walked there, get to the office, and I'm like, everybody's standing there. It's like, well, like what's going on? I looked. No VCRs. Small TVs there. No PlayStation. Computers there. Hmm. There's one thing I forgot to mention. I probably forgot to mention it, but let me mention that now. Before this day, a lot of times I'll come in, sometimes day, sometimes night, and they're playing Final Fantasy VII loud as hell. Loud as hell. Which I told them not to do. You know, sometimes, sometimes I wonder. But anyway, so we all sitting around here. So let me fast forward. I'm like, okay. I said, what happened? Well, obviously I know, but it's not registering to me that we got robbed. It's not registering to me yet that we got robbed. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, so I said, well, what you gonna do? Okay, we'll call the police, the campus cops. I'm like, okay, all right, all right. I'll try to work on a plan. And I said, you know what I'll do? I'll try to work on a plan to refurbish all this stuff, replenish all this stuff. Okay, cool. So I go home, and I'm sitting there, and I get to my apartment about 3 hours before. I had 3 hours before I had to go to work, and I'm sitting right here, and I was like, those MFers. I told them left and right not to do that, and what did they do? Did they listen to me? No. So my I go to work. I come home. My roommate's still up because he's on a chat line at that time, and he goes, "Hey, the guys, we're gonna have a meeting Saturday." I said, "What time Saturday? Before the club or after the club?" He goes, "Before the club." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't have to be at work till. I said, "Well, let's see. Saturday, I don't have to be at work till 7, so sure, no problem." So what happened was, me and him drive up. I drive him up to the club. At Saturday, we had a meeting. Oh my God, what we're gonna do? He said, "I called the campus police, and they're gonna be sending somebody here." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Everything's good in order. All right. What we're gonna do?" I said, "Well, I can probably try to get us a couple more VCRs. I probably can do that." Okay, cool. All right. So after that, I go to work. I come home. I go straight home. My roommate's there, and he's like, well, he's part of the club. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that he's part of the club. And he's like, dude, what we're gonna do? I said, what we're gonna? I said, I can get two VCRs for a good price. Okay. And I said, you know what? The new VCR that I'm buying, staying here at our house. We're giving them my old VCR. I don't care. He said, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, cool. So went out. So the next day went out, bought two new VCRs. I said, okay, because he had a car. I said, are you gonna take it up there? He goes, yeah, sure, I'll take it up there. All right, cool. So now we got that taken care of. No problem. Couple weeks later, I get a package in a box bigger than this, a lot bigger than this. Okay, so I open, and so what happens? I get this package, and my roommate's like, "You got a package?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "What is this place?" I said, "What is this?" He goes, "I don't know. What is this?" So we open it up, and it's a bunch of clothing, stuff that I don't even wear. And I'm like, I don't order clothing. It doesn't make sense for me to order clothing because here's the funny thing, and the reason why, because I had clothes for I had clothes for when I go to job interviews, so I had that, no problem. I had clothes to hang around the house with, not a problem. My job you had to wear a uniform if you're a busser. I had to pay for those differently, separately. So I had no need for any other new clothes. I was like, what the hell? And I look up and these are small. I can't fit these. What the hell? He goes, man, that's weird. I don't get it. So then I was like, okay, fine. So I get a phone. A couple days later, I get a phone call from the campus detective. Yes, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's me. Can you meet me here at this certain day, at this certain time? I'm like, sure, no problem. So that day, I go up there, and then I sit down. This detective, and she starts grilling me on these questions. What's my relationship to the club? She goes, well, we checked and you're not a student anymore. I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, you shouldn't have a key to the place. I go, technically, you're right. I shouldn't, but they wanted me there. They wanted me to have a key in case if they can't meet their office hours. And wait, so you mean to tell me you will actually go up there? I said, I'm not working anywhere, so I'm not working any. I don't have a real job yet, so I got time. Besides, one of our people, he went home for a medical emergency. He was gone for close to a month, 2 or 3 weeks at least. And so I was doing their office hours, so we won't close. Well, that's kind of nice of you. I'm like, okay. And she goes, so there was a PlayStation. Like, yes, the club bought that with our money. And two VCRs, the club bought that with their money. And then she goes, what is your relationship to the club? Well, I said, I am a member, for one, before I graduated. And I had the opportunity, and when I signed up, the club, when we try to update the club membership, they asked me because of my relationship to the office if we wanted an office. I said, sure, why not? And I said, our club should be a lot bigger than just hanging out in someone's house. So hanging out in someone's house, let's hang out in a central location on campus where everybody can get to. And our library grew. How did your library grow? I donated lots of money. I donated money. Oh, you did? Okay. She goes, oh, I see. I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay. So she goes, so what about this guy right here? Oh, yeah, he's one of my best friends. Oh, really? Huh. Did he did he tell you that someone stole money from him? No, I said. I remember one time. I remember one time. I was looking at our roster. We have a roster. It's in a drawer, and I opened the drawer up, and his checkbook was there. So I looked. I said, "Whose checkbook is this?" I was like, "Cause did I accidentally leave my checkbook? Cause my checkbook is the same kind of design." So I was like, "Is my checkbook here?" And so I opened up. It wasn't mine. So I put it back in the drawer and I closed it. Then a couple of days late. Then about a day later, I asked him to talk. During his office hours, I came up here to talk to him personally. I said, and I told him personally, dude, I understand why you. I don't know why you left it. You probably left it here for some strange reason, but you shouldn't leave it here. You should take it. You should keep it at your house. This place is not really safe. I said because people can come in 24/7. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Did you know that someone stole money from him?" I said, "How did someone steal money from him?" Well, they took some of his checks. No, I didn't know that. So, and she said, and according to your roommate, you got a package. I go, yeah, yeah, I got a package of clothing. And she goes, well, is it possible that you felt obligated, since you donated all this money, did you feel obligated to pay yourself back? What? I'm like, what? I said, are you? I said, and I looked up. I said, wait, hold on a second. Are you saying that I broke into our office, took everything, and take his money? Is that what you're saying? And then buy clothes that's too small for me? Is that what I did? That's what you're saying I did? She goes, no, well, that's what it looks like. And I'm like, no one, I don't steal from friends. That's number one. I said, look, okay, I said, let me put it to you this way. I'm from Detroit area. One thing is you trust if you a lot of people I understand you sometimes you can't trust people, but the thing is I trust these guys. Every one of these guys has been in my apartment. Even when I was gone. These guys been in my apartment and nothing was stolen. So why would I steal? Well, I feel that you were trying to get payback. I say I make decent money. I could make up to like $800 a month. Now, mind you, this is like in 1999 too. This is like 1999. So making $800 was kind of like for not having a real employment. That was pretty damn good. But I was like, what? I just looked up. I was like, are you serious? Like to mean, J. Jonah Jameson, are you serious? That's what I'm thinking. I was like, okay. So she goes, well, I tell you what. Do you mind taking a polygraph? I said, sure, I don't mind taking a polygraph. No, let's take a polygraph. Let's do it. When it's you go here at this certain day, at this certain time. All right, cool. So that night, came home from work. My roommate said, yeah, I met with the sergeant. And she said that I stole all this shit. And he looked at me and was like, we all told her it wasn't you. We all told her that. But for some reason, because of the situation, she thinks you're the most likely target to do it. Okay. Okay. See? Ooh. Okay. So what happened was I take the I take the blasted lie detector test. Walked back to the office. I walked back to the office and he was sitting and the guy who stole it, the guy who got his stuff stolen. He goes, hey Art, can I talk to you? I said, sure, what's up? He goes, do you know a girl named Jessie? I'm like, no. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. But that woman is like 30 some years old. He goes, oh, no, she's not a student either. He goes, oh, okay. And I said, the sergeant believes I stole money from you. And he got quiet. And I looked at him and I said, number one, I make pretty decent money for what for this time period from what I can do right now. I make pretty decent money. I don't need any money from you. I don't need to steal from anybody. But that's okay. I just told him that and just say I'm gonna go home, take a nap before I go to work. So my roommate comes home that night. When I came home that night, he goes, "Hey, we want to do a meeting Saturday before the anime meeting." And I said, "Sure, I can do that." So we all had a meeting. We all talked and talked and talked. And I looked at everybody and I said, "Okay, let's talk. Let's talk." Here's the thing: we all looking at each other. Do anybody think I stole it? Do anybody think I stole anything? Say it now. Everybody said no. Okay. Number one, I said, we're in this conference room. I said, number one, these doors are open 24/7. Anybody could walk in. If the door was locked, that means someone had access to keys. I'm the most likely culprit because I'm not a student. So the question is, what do you want to do with me? What do you want to me? What do you want to do with me? You want to kick me out? You want me to surrender my keys? You tell me what. You probably hear silence. And that's what it was, silence. And they was like, well, Art, you help fund the club. Since I help fund the club, they don't want to stop. They don't want to get. And they said, well, that sergeant was stupid in the first place, but that's okay. So that part was taken care of. I said, look, number one, I really can't make the meetings because I work technically every Saturday. Okay, I have no problems floating you guys money here and there or buying stuff, and then you guys using it. I have no problems doing that. Or a lot of times when I go to a comic convention, I come back with cool ass stuff to show. Okay, I have no problems with that. But to me, I helped build, and I said I helped build this club to what it is right now. I helped do it. I helped. I helped. And for me to do something like that is it's despicable and disgrace. Now, mind you, we we just got to move on. A couple months later, right. The funny thing is, right before the semester ended, the police figured out who the real culprit was. Don't know what actually happened after that. I really don't, because it didn't bother. It didn't matter to me because I didn't do anything. And my friend who got robbed didn't really want to talk about it. So basically, that was that was a wild ride. Then when I found my job, As soon as I got my job, I surrendered my key. As soon as I got hot, as soon as they said you start in a couple weeks, I had a meeting with, we had a meeting with them people, with the guys. I said, I just got employed. I still have an apartment, and I will be trying to come here as much as I possibly can. And when I do come, of course, I'm going to hang out at the meetings. But guess what? On the day-to-day things, I'm not going to do anything. I don't be here for anything. And so what happened is I surrendered my key. Everybody's like, "Good luck to you," and I was off. But it's funny how this right here, this incident, kind of helped me set my sight on how the world works a little bit. Circumstantial, based on the circumstance, I am the bad guy, and that's fine. I get it, but in a sense, no one really understood what I was doing anyway. But hey, it builds my character. It builds character. So hopefully you enjoyed that story. Hopefully you did. And and every so often I'll drop some stuff like this again. That kind of helps shape the kind of person who I am today. Hopefully you like it and comment about it. With that being said, I'm going to have to get ready to go to bed. So with that being said, thanks very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and guess what? I'll see you in another video.